seconds and counting.
Hey, what's up, guys? Clips Entertainment here, back with another video, and today we'll be recapping the Houston Texans' 20-13 victory over the New Orleans Saints. This wasn't the most clean game of all time, if you will, but hey, it's crazy to think that the Houston Texans are 3-3 going into the bye week. And their next game will be against the Carolina Panthers after that bye week. But you have to remember that the Houston Texans had 3 wins in all of last season. They now have 3 wins through 6 games. I'm joined here by Jacob. He's going to give some of his thoughts on the game. But let's just look at some of the stats real quick to note. CJ Stroud, definitely not his best game. I think we can all admit that. He was 13 for 27 with 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception on what I thought was a pretty bad read. He just really never saw on the guy floating over the middle. He was sacked twice, so that ends the streak of games where the Texans did not allow a sack. But hey, that's 2 sacks. Not really going to complain too much from that. Devin Singletary led the team in rushing yards with 12 carries for 58 yards on 4.8 yards per carry. Damian Pierce had 13 carries for 34 yards, 2.6 yards per carry. We'll get more into that later. Nico Collins led the team in receiving with 80 yards on 4 receptions, and Dalton Schultz had 61 yards on 4 receptions for 1 touchdown. Robert Woods also had a touchdown reception on his lone catch for 6 yards. Defensively, man, oh man, me and Jacob are excited to talk about this guy, Blake Cashman. Listen to this stat line. He had 15 tackles, 9 solos, 2 tackles for loss, 2 pass deflections, and 1 quarterback hit. Also probably had a couple pressures to count as well when he was blitzing on 3rd downs. D'Amico Ryans is absolutely in his bag there. Sheldon Rankins had a nice game. He had 1 sack and 2 tackles for loss. Jonathan Grenard was credited with half a sack along with Malik Collins. Jacob, this was a big win for the Houston Texans, in my opinion. What's your overall takeaway from this game as they head into the bye week?
I mean, honestly, I think the big takeaway that you have to take away from this game is just that the fact that they are going into the bye at 3-3 with all the injuries that they've had to deal with is pretty crazy to me. Like, so many different injuries. It's only a 500 record, and you're going into kind of the easier part of your schedule, it feels like. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better situation for this team. I mean, like you said, like, who expected Blake Cashman to be playing a ton of reps for this team, playing really well? Like,
So good.
nobody saw that coming, right? I mean, his PFF grade for the last 3 games, I want to say overall, is like a 91.8 for. And if y'all don't know how they grade PFF, like basically anything over 80 is elite, and he has a 91. So he is playing out of his mind.
A plus
And
plus 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 plus.
yeah,
It's crazy.
you basically couldn't ask him to play any better, and he just played probably his best game of the season. I mean, I don't know what to say about just kind of how they've been playing. Like, these guys that you didn't expect that much of have been stepping up and playing. I mean, just great football. Like we were talking about earlier too. Khalil Davis. Like, I didn't even think he was going to make the roster coming in. Nobody really did. And when he plays, it feels like he always makes an impact. And he's always making plays. He's always just around the ball. He's always getting pressures. He's stopping the run. I mean, it's awesome to see. Like, it feels like they're doing more with the talent that they have. Like, I'm so used to watching Texans teams where it's like they should be an 11-win team, but they win 9. And it feels like it's the exact opposite now. They're doing a lot with a little bit of talent. Like, if they had top tier talent, there's no reason this team couldn't be like 5-1. And they don't have top tier talent on either side of the ball. It's not like they have a top 5 receiver in the NFL. They don't have a top 5 pass rusher, a top 5 corner. They don't have a top 5 guy at any spot except left tackle. And they're playing good football. They have one of the better point differentials in the league for a team that's like 3-3. Like, they have just beaten teams. Today was their first close win, but they have just dominated teams. Like, Pittsburgh, Jacksonville were just dominations. And today was an ugly win. It didn't look pretty at all. But the defense stepped up when they needed to step up, and the offense did just enough to keep them in the game and keep them with the lead and chew some clock. They just did enough, and I mean, you go on the bye at 500 with all the injuries and everything you've gone through this year. You couldn't ask for anything better.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of recap the game a little bit. So the Texans went into the half at 17-10. I would say that the offense in the first half was I liked what I saw. I saw creativity. I saw the ability to consistently move the ball down the field. The running game was, you know, let's look at how many rushing yards the Texans had. The offense really didn't do too much in the second half.
Yeah, they didn't
You
do
know,
much at all.
so the stats don't really paint the whole picture, but the Texans running game, so they finished the game with 120 rushing yards. I feel like I want to say like 90 of those yards came from the first half. And
Yeah.
then obviously CJ's completion percentage was off to a really rough start. It was like 2 for 7 to start the game, whatever, through the interception and whatnot. But I like what I saw from Bobby Slowick. I like that Devin Singletary got more carries. There's a little bit of a weird conviction once Bobby was like, "Oh, we can run the ball, we can run the ball," then he ran the ball a little bit too much.
Yeah.
We started seeing the run pass. We saw that we clearly couldn't run the ball on the goal line. But my thing is like you're just running zone. You're not running anything creative on the goal. If you want to run the ball on the goal line, that's cool, but the Saints are ready for that. And that's the great thing about the bye week is that we get to look at that film and be like, so this was going well, and then we did that. Why did we do that? And then you can realize, okay, we're not going to do this next time. So we saw a lot of great things. Look, the defense was swarming. I didn't necessarily love how the defense played in the first half, especially coverage wise. I thought maybe a little bit too easy in the passing game. Run game has been super super good though. We like you said, Khalil Davis. This is definitely Sheldon Rankins' best game too. I'll give him credit there.
For sure.
First, yeah, absolutely. And then Blake Cashman. Like you said, the PFF grade is gonna be awesome. A lot of people still aren't gonna really know who Blake Cashman is, but
They won't know
there
until they
there
play the Texans.
there there are not many linebackers in the NFL that are playing better than Blake Cashman right now. So if you're watching this video and you're not a Houston Texans fan, you don't watch the Texans, you should probably start to learn the name Blake Cashman. Hopefully EA Madden 24 is watching this too, because his rating better go up too. I'm sure it's only like a 70 or something. It can't be too good. Also, I think Jimmy Ward had a nice game. One thing the Texans did do a lot more is they played a lot more 4-3, and they also played a lot. Graylin Arnold got a lot less snaps.
Yep.
Jimmy Ward took time playing in the nickel. Eric Murray played some safety in nickel as well until he got injured. I can say I was a little disappointed. I thought Graylin Arnold has been doing just fine,
Yeah,
but
he's been playing pretty well.
yeah, but
I,
we also do expect Tavier to be back after the bye week. I think that's pretty
yeah,
much a guarantee at this point. And that's the great thing about this team is that this team is only going to get healthier. Everyone has to understand that
exactly.
we're not at full strength right now. Now, like Jacob said, we're really just kind of being elevated by D'Amico Ryans and stuff like that. We don't have the most talented players. The team definitely, if they want to be legit, they gotta, add talent. Obviously, there's no lying there. But it's just good to see that this Houston Texans team is stacking wins. They figured out how to win get now, and now, like you said, they won a close game. So they won 2 games in blowout fashion, one at home, one on the road, and now they won a close game at home. Now we just got to see them win a close game on the road, and they've literally figured out how to win games in the NFL in so many different ways. And that's the great thing about this team because we didn't expect this team to necessarily, win that many games this year, especially I certainly didn't. But
Yep.
they did a lot of good things. They were creative on offense. They were good against the run. They made timely plays. The third down play calling by D'Amico Ryans was exactly what we saw against the Ravens, and then it kind of disappeared, and then it came back against the Saints where he was putting guys at the box, playing man coverage behind it, because he was just like, you know what? This is what we have to do. He trusted his guys. He knows Derek Stingley's out. He knows Tavier Thomas is out. He doesn't care. He's going to call the plays that he knows should be called in this situation, and his guys executed. Totally credit to the guys on defense. clearly there is a difference in this organization, in this building, with D'Amico Ryans as the head coach. He trusts in his guys, and the players are responding and they're executing.
I mean, yeah, you couldn't ask for a better start to the season, to be honest with you. If you were expecting 6-0, like that's just delusional of
That's
you.
crazy.
But you just couldn't ask for a better start to the season. I mean, the Texans found their franchise quarterback and they're a competitive team, and it looks like they have their head coach. I mean, and like you said, this was definitely not CJ Stroud's best game, but I mean, for a rookie quarterback, if 200 yards and 7.5 per attempt with 2 touchdowns is a bad day, I mean, I think that says more about how good he is than anything else. Like it definitely was not his cleanest game, but overall, I didn't think he was bad. We were expecting a ton from him because he's been so good. But this is still a good game overall, I think. Um, and I mean, just
He had some
overall,
timely, I'll say he did have some timely throws. I think
yeah,
that's what really mattered. Like the throws under pressure to Nico, stuff like that. The ball is over the middle, plus 20 yards, plus 10 yards. That's really all you want to see from a rookie quarterback. And I think some fans may have, just expected him to have a better game because he was literally playing above standards to a rookie quarterback and above standards to an NFL quarterback, if you will.
yeah. I mean, and the encouraging thing about this whole team is just the fact that like it feels like there's still a lot of room to grow, like even just this season. It feels like they can get a ton better from this point to the end of the season because I mean, and I agree with you. I think Bobby Slowick has done a really good job, but sometimes it feels like in the second half of games, maybe they get too predictable. Like you said, the run game starts working and they overdo it. So it feels like you come out of the bye week and they can kind of adjust, especially because if they can get Juice Scruggs back and you can move Titus to tackle, it kind of just it should open up the run game more, and it should just overall that's your unit, that's your offensive line for the rest of the year. So it feels like that should only help the offense out. And I mean, like we're saying, you should get Derek Stingley back pretty soon, and I'm pretty excited for Hassan Ridgeway to come back. Hopefully after the bye, I think he's a good player. I think people are kind of sleeping on how good he could be for this team. So I'm fairly excited to see what happens with this team just going forward throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah, exactly. You hit it on the nail there. There's a lot of things that's going to happen over the next 2 weeks with this bye week, with the trade deadline, stuff like that. Will the Texans be buyers? Will they be sellers? There's certain things that they can do. They can get people back from injury. They can move people around because of all that. They can figure some things out schematically, game plan wise. This team is only going to get better. They have a very easy schedule. In my opinion, I would say that they have a pretty easy schedule, and it's going to be exciting to see how things play out, especially after coming off a dub against the Saints. That's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see y'all next time. Peace.